This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so uh, yeah, what we have learned so far is how Splunk works, and we have understood the main Splunk components: forwarder, indexer, search head, license master, cluster master, deployment server, and deployer. Right? We have learned about all this stuff, and we also have understood how it actually used in the real time. We will anyway try and understand more as the sessions progress. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I hope you can see that. So basically, main Splunk components, I would just write it here because they are really important. Okay, they are forwarders, indexers, search heads, and then license master, cluster master, cluster master, deployment server, sorry, deployment server, and deployer. These are Splunk components. We will not talk about this in detail, but just on the brief we understood. I mean, we talk about this 5 minutes like every day, so that you understand it, you remember it for a long time. Okay, so quickly, like, forwarders are used to forward, and indexers are used to index, and search heads are used to search the data. Why do you search the data? Is because to get visualizations, reports, alerts, and all that. That's one thing. Now, license master is used to have the control on the daily data volume limit in the licensing, right? Because uh, any project that you work, you'll be given a licensing, right? So license master will help you to have the control on the daily data volume limit. Okay, that's one thing. Now, cluster master, clustering, basically when you have high availability of data, clustering will be coming into picture. I had already told you there are two types of clustering. Can anyone tell me what are the two types of clustering in Splunk we have? There are two types of clusterings. What are they? Anyone wants to take a chance? There are two types of clusterings in Splunk. Do you remember what are the two types of clusterings? Okay, indexer clustering
Cluster
and search
master.
head. Yeah, correct. Indexer cluster and search head cluster. Okay, so those two are different processes which we will be learning. But anyway, so cluster master is one, and deployment server. Deployment server is used to basically control, like, to manage the Splunk components. We use deployment server. Okay, that's one thing. And deployer is also we have. So deployer is used to send apps and configuration files to other search head members. Okay, to other search head members. Okay, all right, so these are the thing. Now when we install Splunk, right, so there are some, couple of what do you call, important concepts in Splunk. Okay, so let me just show you that now. Okay, so before that, I think we have to talk about some of the roles and responsibilities which are really important for you guys. Give me a minute. There you go. Just let me share my screen once again. All right. Okay, guys. So before we talk about something really important, we should understand. We need to understand what are the roles and responsibilities. Okay, roles and responsibilities of a developer, roles and responsibilities of an administrator. Briefly we will see that. Splunk. Okay, remember one thing, in Splunk you have I mean generally two types of roles you'll be playing in the organizations. Okay, they are admin and development, administration and development. Now let's say if you are working as an administrator. Okay, so you have recruited as an administrator, and there are some of the responsibilities that you'll be taking as a administrator. So what are the roles and responsibilities as a administrator? See here, these are the main roles and responsibilities you'll be playing as a administrator. Okay, what are they? First, troubleshooting. Okay, you will be working on troubleshooting, guys. What is troubleshooting? Okay, we all know, for example, if your machine system or a laptop, it is not working, for example, if it is slow, or it's not giving the expected results to you, right? What you do some sort of a troubleshooting, right? Maybe you go to settings and check for the performance, and you do all the stuff, right? Similarly, in Splunk also you have troubleshooting activities. Like for example, as I said, we have forwarders, right? Forwarders to use to forward the data, right? Sometimes what happens in real time environment also, forwarders will not be able to send the data from one Splunk component to another. At that point of time, what we do is we will do troubleshooting. Okay, we will do troubleshooting. Now what is troubleshooting? Like why it is not flowing from one Splunk component, or also you do configuration files troubleshooting. In the maybe in the upcoming sessions we will talk about configuration files in Splunk. Sometimes what happens, uh, there is a spelling mistakes or anything in the data, any error in the data or a configuration file, you need to troubleshoot that. How do you do that? Like there is a path to write, like go to bin folder. Okay, and you have to do the troubleshooting. I will show you. So point here that I'm trying to tell you is, troubleshooting is one of the responsibility that you'll be taking care of as a Splunk administrator. Right now, securing Splunk enterprise. What is a securing Splunk? So basically, you have environment, right? Like for example, forwarders, indexers, everything. So this is also your responsibility to make sure environment is secure. Okay, there is no data loss or anything should not be happening. Okay, like it should not be the case, if the data is exceeding more than 100%, things like that. Okay, basically you'll secure the Splunk enterprise here. Scaling Splunk deployment, right? That means, see, there is a deployment server, or and generally you speak about deployment, right? So at that point of time also, deployment process also should be taken care by you as a Splunk administrator. Remember that. Okay, that is also should be taken care by you. Now Splunk installations, we all know. Okay, I will also talk about Splunk installation using Linux as the sessions progress, right? So how do you do that? You will be installing the Splunk as well. Okay, that is main important responsibility as a Splunk administrator. Now data ingestion. Okay, data ingestion is nothing but, I mean, you can also call it as uploading the data or onboarding the data. Okay, or adding the data to Splunk, or data ingestion, anything. Okay, yeah, you can call any one of them, right? So here you can add the data, you can ingest the data. Okay, that is data ingestion. Now managing indexes and indexers in your environment. In your environment you have forwarders, indexers, search, etc. As I said sometime back, you need to manage all the indexes. Okay, for example, I said I have 5 indexes. I will show you that also, where you will see that. Basically environment you will see in license master, guys, remember that. Okay, I mean in deployment server, basically where you have how many forwarders, indexers, search heads, you will see them there. Okay, depending on your data, you will manage these indexes. Okay, so these are okay. Briefly, just remember this anyway. You can make a note whenever you get some time. So I'm recording this so you can go through it. These are uh, majority of the roles and responsibilities that you will be doing as a Splunk administrator. Okay, now apart from these, also based on the client requirement, you may perform more. Typically these are the administration activities. Now something you see here, development activities. If you're a Splunk developer, okay, what you do, this is what it is. If you're a Splunk developer, what you will do. Sorry, yeah. uh, yeah, these are typically some of the activities you perform as a developer, but it doesn't mean that you're doing everything. Remember that. Okay, and one more thing guys, you should understand that there is no Splunk development and administration generally, if you talk about. But what is happening in the real time, in the ground level, is that organizations, okay, based on the work that they have, right? So I mean, they call it as administration and development. Okay, administration and development. So as we spoke some time back, if you're performing all these operations, all these activities, you call it as an administrator. Now these are some of the activities you'll be playing as a developer. Okay, so I would say that entire Splunk, 70 to 80%, okay, 70 to 80% of the activities you perform as an administrator. Remaining 30 to, I mean, 20 or 30%, right? So that is, comes under development part. Very small, I mean, limited activities that you have to perform as a developer. So if I talk about in developer, you'll be, creating dashboards, okay, creating alerts, and writing different kinds of use cases. Okay, these are all the main things, two or three activities that you'll be performing. But of course, when you start writing the query, right, there is a SPL language. I had already shared you guys the document. Okay, the first document which I shared last week to you guys is SPL document, that is Splunk processing language, where you have entire commands. It is all used for development. Okay, I hope you guys have gone through that. Okay, so you can read that out, you can have it for your reference for your lifetime. Okay, so those are the commands which we'll be using in Splunk development. Okay, now a Splunk developer would possibly perform some of the below activities. What are they? Query data in Splunk using SPL, that is search processing language, or Splunk processing language, you can call it as SPL. Okay, Splunk search language. Build reports, create dashboards, alerts. Okay, you can build reports, dashboards, alerts, right? So it'll tell you how to create that. Create data model and build reports based on a data models. Okay, there's one important concept, you call it as data models in Splunk. Okay, so you will work on that as well. Make sure data is normalized. Create tags, alias, macros, and event types. Field extraction using regular expression or interactive field extractor. Data ingestion through REST API or scripts. Okay, and rarely perform the below activities. Okay, possibly integrate third-party visualizations into Splunk. Sorry, and also you have a JavaScript create visualizations, Python, and all SPL commands. Okay, see, don't get panic or something, because you don't perform all these. Okay, since we are learning, okay, we are understanding, you may perform all these. Okay, so otherwise not everything you'll be performing, because see, to be honest with you, nobody is expert in JavaScript, nobody is expert in Python, and all that, because these two are different sort of technologies, right? You need to uh, good in Python, JavaScripting, and all that. But yeah, as far as Splunk is concerned, you don't need the that expertise in Java and all that. And of course, majority of the companies are not going to use that, but there is an opportunity, some of the clients may use this. Okay, so that's all. So these are basically the typical activities, typical roles and responsibilities of a developer in Splunk. Okay, so this is something really important. However, I have I'll be sharing this with you guys, so you can just go through it. Okay, these are the developer activities, and these are the administration activities. Okay, this is about these two. Anything, any questions I have? Can I move to the next slide? Next thing to discuss. If you have more
So
questions,
then, I
yeah,
have a question.
please go ahead.
Um, so I'm looking at these two roles, right? And where does data administrator comes in? Splunk data administrator comes in.
It comes into the Splunk administration part itself. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, admin is something, it's like he's responsible. For example, let's say, let me give you this example. If you're building a home or a house, right? Let's say you're building a huge apartment. Okay, so you are an architect. Basically, it's kind of thing, you are someone who's taking the entire responsibility of it. You are the administrator. Okay, like, and then whatever the other activities, you have people taking care of it. So there are, as I said, a lot of activities you'll be doing as a Splunk administrator, administration part. Yeah. So that word administration itself, right? So under the administration, you have so much of things to take care of in Splunk.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is one thing. We'll tell you anyway. Maybe in a couple of classes you will understand this more. Okay, so this is, I would request you to please have this handy whenever you get some time. Let's go through it. Please go through it so that you get the better idea. Okay, now, and after these two, now something which is really important. What is it? Okay, in Splunk. Okay, in Splunk, basically what you'll have is okay, let me share my screen again. Just give me 1 second. um Just give me 1 second. I'm sharing my screen. As I was talking about the licensing, right? So let's understand little more about licensing, and then we move to the very important concept of a directory structure and all that. Okay. Now let me share my screen again. Okay, all right, guys. So here, see, it's something you should understand that license violations. Okay, I was talking about the licensing, right? I was talking about the licensing. Now here, if you see, license violation is one of the concept in Splunk. Okay, even in interviews also. Okay, licensing is a separate concept which you have to talk about. So they'll ask you what happens if the license violation happens, right? What happens if the license violations happen? Now, if the license violation happens, what happens is basically, okay, see here, license warning occurs when you exceed the maximum daily indexing volume allowed to your license. If you have multiple license warnings and have exceeded the license warning limit for your license, you'll get a license violation. During a license violation period, what happens? You see here, Splunk Enterprise continue to index your data. Using search is blocked while you are in violation. This restriction includes schedule reports and alerts. Searching the internal indexes is not blocked. You can use the monitoring console or run searches against the internal index to diagonalize the licensing problem. Okay, so please read this out, please understand this. This it's something, what happens if your license violation is done. Okay, so basically if your license violation is done, your search will be blocked. That means you cannot search the data. I will show you that. You will check search the data, right? That you cannot do. So that is why, generally, if your license violation, you need to immediately extend the license. Okay, your team, your management will take care of that, because there is some approvals required for it, approvals from client. Okay, that means there's some money amount, like it is involved in it, because there's some dollars they need to get the uh, license approved from the client, then it will be extended. So this will be taken care by your management. So but the concept you should understand: license violations. Okay, what happens if your license violation is done? Your license violation is done if your search will be blocked. Okay, and these are the conditions that happens. Okay, you should understand that. Okay, now this is all not really important, but there's something here, you see guys, this is one thing which I will be stressing a lot. uh, Splunk directory structure. Okay, what is a Splunk directory structure? Splunk directory structure is nothing but, okay, Splunk home. Okay, when you if you any one of you joined using laptop, you have Splunk installed. Kaiku, do you have it?
Yeah,
Kaiku, do
but
you
on
have?
my computer though. No, on
Okay,
computer.
okay, you're in a computer.
No, I'm on a phone now.
Oh, you're on a phone. Okay, okay, okay. If anyone of you has joined this call in the laptop or a computer, if you have Splunk installed, I would have shown you. But however, I will install Splunk today in my machine. I could not do it yesterday. Sorry for that. So I'll install and I will show you what exactly Splunk directory structure is. So guys, since you do not have, no problem. See, when you install Splunk, so please install it today if you have laptops. So I would want to see Splunk in your machines tomorrow without fail. Okay. So now, first, how to install? I had already gave you the document. Okay, I had already gave you the document. You please follow the document and create your account with Splunk and install this in your machines first. Okay, now let's say for an example, I have Splunk installed in my machine. Either, even if you install also, it is the same case to everybody, right? So if I have Splunk installed in my machine, that is Windows. Okay, I'm talking about Windows, not Linux. Linux, when we talk about Linux Splunk installation later, but not now. Now I'm talking about Splunk installation using Windows, right? For example, let's say I have Splunk installed in my machine. Okay, so when you have Splunk, where you will see that is, go to your computer, like you have. Okay, you have, this is your computer, right?
Quick
Generally
question.
you
Are
have.
you showing any screen?
Yes, yes, yeah. You can't see
But
it.
I don't see the screen though. Anybody see any
uh
screen?
I'm sharing it.
Yeah, but I don't see no screen.
Henry, do do you guys see my screen or no?
Yeah, I see.
You see it? Okay.
Yes, Kweku, I can see the screen.
Okay, maybe it looks like some network issue, Kaiku, from your end. Please check that.
Kweku, check your network.
Yeah.
You may have internet issues, Kweku.
Okay. All right. So let's say I have Splunk installed in my machine. So where do I see that? You go to your computer here, okay, local machine, and you go to C folder. Okay, you have something called program files. Okay, please do remember this process. Okay, don't miss out. Please do remember this process. When you install Splunk in your machine, in your local machine, Splunk windows, right? So where do you see that? You go to your machine, local machine, C folder, right? Click on C folder, go to program files. Here you will see Splunk, guys. However, at the moment here it is not here, but normally you will see Splunk here. Okay. Now if you see Splunk here, if you open a Splunk folder, that is where you will see all the directory structures, whatever I'm talking about now. First thing, this is a Splunk home, bin folder. Okay, bin is one folder, etc is another folder, where is one more folder. Okay, you guys have to remember etc, bin, where. These terminologies, these names you should understand because there is no shortcut to it. Okay, so just give me 1 second quickly. What I'll do is okay, so just give me a minute. So I will take this for you so that you get the idea. Okay, give me 1 second. Right. Mm, so I will take this so that you get the better idea here. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to share my screen once again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you can see it, right? You're seeing my screen. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Splunk directory structure. Okay. Splunk directory structure. So as I said, when you install Splunk in your local machine for Windows process, so you can see this in program files. Go to program files. You will have Splunk there. Click on Splunk. When you click on Splunk, you will see all the folders available. Okay. How do you think Splunk will give you a result whatever you are searching for? It happens because of the folders that you have backend of the Splunk. Now what are the folders you see here is, please remember, this is the interview question. Okay, this is the interview question. They will ask you, please talk about Splunk directory structure. Okay, so at that point of time you have to talk about the entire structure that you see here. Okay, first you say Splunk home, which starts from Splunk home. You have folders like bin, etc, var. Bin, etc, var. Bin is one of the folder, etc is another folder, var is one more folder. In bin you have all the executables. In bin folder you have all the executables. Okay, in bin folder you have all the executables, right? In etc folder you have licenses and configuration files. Okay, in etc folder you have all the licenses and configuration files. Okay, where is one of the folder, where you have all the buckets there, Splunk buckets, like you have hot bucket, warm, cold. We'll talk about that. So that is what these three are main important folders at the beginning. Okay, etc, bin, where. Remember this, in etc folder you will have what you will have in etc. In etc folder you will have executables like Splunk start, okay, Splunk stop. These kind of activities, if you want to do, you will have it in this, that is bin folder. Now in etc folder you have all the licenses and configuration files. Okay, and in var folder you have buckets. Now again, within etc, okay, within etc folder you still have some of the subfolders. Some of these subfolders, they are apps, okay, system, okay, users, okay, these things. Now one more app that you have is launcher app, and you also have search app and custom apps, so on. You have like that. And similarly you have some folders like default and local. Okay, why do you think you have default and local? Because the Splunk runs with the entire structure. See, if the movie is playing on the screen, which means there is a director or producer, or there are a lot of characters that are playing the, playing the role in that particular movie, right? So similarly, if you see Splunk is running, this is all because of, roles of the Splunk directory structure. Okay, so if the Splunk directory structure folders has right performance or performing good, only then you see your Splunk performing well on the screen. Okay, so these are the, characters which will help Splunk to perform well on the screen. Okay, they are, everything are behind the screen and helps Splunk to perform on the screen. It's like that. Okay, so this is how Splunk directory structure works. Okay, so again I repeat, Splunk directory structure is, which is really important to understand the folders available in Splunk. Normally when you install Splunk, Windows, right, you will see it in your system, that is local machine. Then you will see, uh, in local machine, where you will see it in program files. Okay, where you have Splunk. Within Splunk you have all these folders. Okay, so this is one thing, guys. Now one more thing I would want to tell you is that Splunk port numbers. Okay, Splunk port numbers, guys, very very important. Okay, let me just show you that as well. Give me a minute. Okay, anyone have heard about port numbers before? Splunk port numbers, anyone of you? If
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. You remember any one of the port numbers in Splunk?
8,000.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, 8000 is one. Yes.
8084.
Yeah, true. Some of the port numbers. Yeah. So what I would suggest you, no worries, you can just go to, I mean, whenever you want to check these Splunk port numbers, you can directly go to Google and you can try that also. I mean, but when you search for the first time, please remember those port numbers. Okay, even if it is an interview also, they'll ask you to, what are the port numbers. Okay, the point here that I'm trying to make is, please remember the port numbers. Okay, please remember the port numbers. Like, I am not telling you to remember everything, just 4 or 5. See, to be honest, nobody is expert to remember, 20, 30 port numbers. However, you don't have those many port numbers in Splunk. You just have some of them, around 10, 15. So I would request you to please remember handy all the time, at least 5. Okay, if you're sleeping, if someone wakes you up, okay, you should be in a position to tell the port numbers or Splunk components every day. So that is why I'm repeating it every day. Okay, so this should help you to remember whenever, for example, someone is at your home also, someone is asking you, you should be in a position to tell. Okay, so please remember these things every day. If you just spend 5-10 minutes, it is really helpful. Now see, these are some of the port numbers I'm showing you, and however, you will see more again as the sessions progress. So as you see my screen, Splunk port numbers. Okay, 8000 Splunk web port number, we call it as 8089 Splunk management port number, 9997 Splunk indexing port number, 8080 Splunk index replication port number, 514 is network port number, and 8191 is a KV store port number. Okay, so these are some of the port numbers you can remember, frequently used. Of course, as I said, apart from this, there are some more port numbers also we will be using. Okay, so that you will understand them as the sessions progress. But for now, please understand this. Please remember, There's nothing to understand. It's like remembering the numbers. How you remember phone number, right? How you remember your what do you call address, pin, whatever the number, right? So this is just remembering the number. So that's why you should know this. Okay, just remember the port numbers, right? So now apart from this, there are some more port numbers. I said, right? To be honest, I just go to any of the browser. Okay, you go to browser and type for Splunk port numbers. Splunk port numbers, if you type, you see a lot of them here. There you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, see here, 8000 is for web series, web port number. 8089 Splunk, you know, Splunk series. If you are starting it, are 8065. It's 514. Okay, 143. Everything. Some of them maybe you are seeing here, and you don't see same here, right? So remember these and have this handy every time whenever you want to talk about this Splunk port numbers. Okay, so this is one thing. And one more thing, guys, we will I will talk about this more in the when we meet in the next session, basically. So here, configuration files. Let's name them. One is inputs.conf. Two would be outputs.conf. Three would be indexes.conf. Four would be props.conf. Five would be transforms.conf. Configuration. CONF. Conf in the sense configuration. Next thing would be deployment client.conf. Okay, and maybe you can say one more, saved searches.conf. Okay, these are the configuration files most probably, and maybe you see a few more apart from this which we will be learning. But please remember, at the point at this moment, please remember these configuration files. We will understand as the sessions progress that how these configuration files will be used. Where do you use this configuration? How do you use each and every configuration in your Splunk? We will show you that, right? First, you should remember inputs and outputs. I would suggest you, you can remember like this: inputs and outputs. It is one pair. Okay, this is the easy process to remember: inputs and outputs. Okay, props and transforms. Four, you can easily remember: inputs and outputs, props and transforms, because props and transforms, these two are interrelated to each other. How? I will show you. Okay, so please remember. And apart from this, indexes.conf, deployment client.conf, saved searches.conf, right? These are the configuration files of Splunk. All right, guys. So apart from this, like there's something called we already discussed port numbers, right? Port numbers we discussed, and we have also discussed about Splunk directory structure, and we have also spoken about configuration files, and one more very important concept, which is file precedence in Splunk. Okay, which we will be learning tomorrow, not today. Okay, so these four topics I would request you to please remember every day. First is Splunk directory structure. Second would be port numbers in Splunk. Third would be configuration files in Splunk. Fourth would be Splunk directory structure. Sorry, fourth would be Splunk file precedence. Okay, what is the file precedence? I will tell you, not today. Okay, so these four are really really important. uh, okay, so I would request you to please read this out every day, so that you will be in a good position to remember these things. Okay, this will really help you. Okay, so slowly I will actually show you how do you search the data in Splunk in real time. Everything we are going to learn as the sessions progress, right? So that's all I have for today. We will connect tomorrow. If any questions, you can ask me now. Okay, if you have no questions, I think we are good to close for today, and we will connect tomorrow, guys.